Good morning, class 7. In the previous class, we have begun the chapter Air, which is your fourth chapter in your geography book. So we have talked about the composition of atmosphere, which has different air. You can see it in the pie chart. Nitrogen is 78%, oxygen is 21%, carbon dioxide is 0.03%, argon is 0.93%, and all others is 0.04%. Then we have talked about the carbon dioxide, which is important greenhouse gas, and it helps in trapping the heat which is radiated, and but then it is also contributing in global warming, that is the rise in the temperature. And because when the temperature is rising, what happens is that the snow which is there on the in the coldest parts, that is melting, and the result is that the sea level is rising up, which results in flood in the coastal areas. So we have to be particular, we have to take care that the greenhouse gas emission can be controlled, so that the global warming can be controlled, right? Then we have talked about nitrogen, which is important for plants, but then it cannot directly inhale it, so what does the roots do? They trap the nitrogen which is there, and that helps the plant in growing up. So you can see there are different paper cuttings, and they are offering different ways of global warming. Warming is unstoppable. Obviously these days also you can see that how warm it is, and the monsoon is we cannot feel or get the shower of the rainfall. We haven't felt it. It's terribly hot in Lucknow because the rain is not taking place. Today we will start with the structure of the atmosphere. Our atmosphere is divided into 5 layers starting from the Earth's surface. These are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. So you have studied this in your EVS also. You can see the diagram which you will be drawing in your notebooks. Troposphere, this layer is the most important layer of the atmosphere. Its average height is 13 kilometers. The air we breathe exists here. Almost all the weather phenomena like rainfall, fog, and hailstorm occur in this layer. So this troposphere, which you can see in the picture, it is just 13 kilometers, and all the weather phenomena like fog, rainfall, or hailstorm that takes place here. Stratosphere, that is just above the troposphere. Above the troposphere lies the stratosphere. It extends up to the height of 50 kilometers. This layer is almost free from clouds and associated weather phenomena. So this is the difference here. The weather phenomena does not take place, whereas in troposphere the weather phenomena takes place, making conditions most ideal for flying aeroplanes. One important feature of stratosphere is that it contains a layer of ozone gas. We have just learned how it protects us from the harmful effect of the sun rays. So stratosphere, it is 50 kilometers. Here clouds, you can say it is free from the clouds, and that therefore it becomes the ideal place for flying the aeroplanes. So you can see that stratosphere is the place where aeroplanes have, people fly aeroplanes. And then second thing which is there is ozone layer, which protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of sun. Then comes mesosphere. This is the third layer of the atmosphere. It lies above stratosphere. It extends up to height of 80 kilometers. So troposphere 13, stratosphere 50, and mesosphere is 80 kilometers. Meteorites burn up in this layer on entering from the space. So from mesosphere you can make out that meteoroids, when they enter from the space, then they burn here in mesosphere. Then it is thermosphere. From the name it is clear. In thermosphere, temperature rises very rapidly with increasing height. So you move up, and the temperature increases. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. It extends between 80 to 400 kilometers. So ionosphere is the part of thermosphere, and it extends to 80 to 400 kilometers. This layer helps in radio transmission. In fact, radio waves transmitted from the Earth are reflected back to the earth by this layer. So when the radio transmission is like moves ahead, moves upward, it is reflected back towards the earth by this ionosphere. The last is exosphere. The uppermost layer of the atmosphere is known as exosphere. This layer has very thin air. Light gases like helium and hydrogen float into the space from here. So this is the air is very less here. So gases like which is very light, considered light like helium and hydrogen, that floats here. Now weather and climate. Very common question and very important. You have to understand what is the difference between a weather and a climate. Is it going to rain today? Will it be bright and sunny today? How many times have you heard this from anxious cricket fans speculating the fate of a one-day match? If we imagine our body to be radio and the mind it's a speaker, weather is something that fiddles with its control knobs. Weather is the hour-to-hour, day-to-day condition of atmosphere. So what is weather? It is which every hour what is the condition, that is what weather is. Day-to-day condition of the atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make one irritable. A pleasant breezy weather may make one cheerful and even plan for an outing. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. So like it can be like it is there is a forecast that there will be rain on Saturday, so the weather will be pleasant. So from day to day weather can change. Weather can change dramatically from day to day. However, the average weather condition of a place for a longer period of time represents the climate. So when weather is persisting for a long period of time, that is what climate is. Weather is day to day, climate is for long duration of time. Now do you understand why we have daily weather forecast? So you have never heard of climate forecast. We hear that weather forecast. Weather means that because it is day to day, whatever changes are observed. Temperature. The temperature you feel every day is the temperature of the atmosphere. The degree of hotness and coldness of the air is known as temperature. The temperature of the atmosphere changes not only between day and night but also from seasons to seasons. Summers are hotter than winters. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is isolation. So temperature from the atmosphere, like it can be hot, it can be cold, and the temperature of atmosphere that changes not only between day and night but also from, obviously like in day and night, obviously you say that there is a variation in the temperature, and also from season to season. In summer season it will be hot, in winters it will be cold. Summers are hotter than winters. An important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. So insolation is the incoming solar energy intercepted by the earth. Insolation is a heat rays, the sun that which is coming to the earth. The amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the pole. Obviously, on the equator the sun rays falls directly. When you move towards the pole, that decreases. Therefore, the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now, do you understand why poles are covered with snow? If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. The concrete and metals in the building and the asphalt of roads gets heated up during the day. This heat is released during the night also. Also, the crowded high-rise buildings of cities trap the warm air and thus rise the temperature of the cities. So the cities are hot, comparatively you find it is much heat is there in the cities than in comparison to villages. Let's see what is there in this picture. These are the weather instruments. That is thermometer, which measures the temperature. Barometer, it measures the atmospheric pressure. Rain gauge, it measures the amount of rainfall. And wind vane, it shows the direction of the wind, in which direction the wind is blowing. Now, the standard unit of measuring temperature is degrees Celsius. It was invented by Anders Celsius. On the Celsius scale, the water freezes at 0 degrees centigrade and boils at 100 degrees centigrade. On the moon, there is no air and hence no air pressure. Astronauts have to wear special protective space suits filled with air when they go to the moon. If they did not wear these space suits, the counter pressure exerted by the body of the astronauts would make the blood vessels burst. The astronauts would bleed. So therefore, you must have seen that those astronauts will wear special type of dress. Air pressure. You will be surprised to know that air above us presses us with a great force on our bodies. However, we don't even feel it. This is because the air pressure presses us from all directions and our body exerts a counter pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of the air on the Earth's surface. As we go up the layers of atmosphere, the pressure falls rapidly. The air pressure is highest at sea level and decreases with height. Horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at a given place. So the temperature, it has impact on the air pressure. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and wet weather. In areas having lower temperature, the air is cold. It is therefore heavy. Heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with clear and sunny skies. The air always moves from high pressure areas to low pressure areas. Wind. The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure areas is called wind. You can see wind at work as it blows dry leaves down the pavement or uproots trees during a storm. Sometimes when the wind blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. At times, wind can be so strong that it is so difficult to walk against it. You must be experiencing it. It's not easy to hold an umbrella on a windy day. Think of some other examples when strong wind have created problems for you. Winds can be broadly divided into three types: permanent wind, seasonal wind, and local wind. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies, are the permanent wind. These blow constantly throughout the year in a particular direction. So, from the name it is clear they are permanent, they are always there. Seasonal, these winds change their direction in different seasons, for example, monsoon in India. Then local winds. These blow only during a particular period of day or year in small areas, for example, land and sea breeze. Do you recall the hot and dry local winds of northern plains of India? It is called Loo. You must have heard of it and you must have felt it during the summers, in the month of end of April and May. We feel that hot wind which is called Loo. Then cyclone, nature's fury. Odisha, located on the eastern sea coast of India, is prone to cyclones that originate in the Bay of Bengal. On 18 October 1999, cyclone hit 5 districts of the state. Another super cyclone occurred on 29 October 1999 that devastated large portions of the state. The damages caused were mainly due to three factors, that is, wind velocity, rain, and tidal surge. The winds of up to 260 km per hour lasted for over 36 hours. These high velocity winds uprooted trees and damaged the Kacha house. Rooftops of several industrial sheds and other houses were also blown away. Power supply and telecom lines snapped completely. Heavy rain occurred under the influence of the cyclone for 3 days continuously. These rains led to flooding in the major cities of Odisha. The cyclonic wind caused tidal waves that swept 20 kilometers inland and brought massive destruction to the coastal areas. The 7 to 10 meters high tidal wave intruded suddenly and caused massive damage to the standing paddy crops. So this, you must have heard about this cyclone, and it was really very tragic. The cyclone originated as a depression in the Gulf of Thailand near east of Port Blair on 25th October 1999 and gradually moved in a westward direction. It intensified into a supercyclone and hit the area between Irasama and Balikuda in Odisha on 29th October at 10:30 am. The supercyclone swept the entire coast of Odisha, including the cities of Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, and 28 coastal towns. About 13 million people were affected. A large number of livestock were killed. Standing crops of paddy, vegetables, and fruits were heavily damaged. Due to the salinization caused by tidal surge, large tracts of agricultural land have turned infertile. Salinization means the salt which was present there that has come and that has infected the land. So obviously, because salt was there, the land has turned infertile. Large tracts of sal, teak, and bamboo plantations have disappeared. The mangrove forest between Paradeep and Konark vanished. So it was a massive disaster. With this, we will stop here, children. We will continue in the next class. Take care. Be safe at home. Thank you.